It's like, what kind of Bremerton do we want? Email City Council, email Garrett Jackson. I was a professional wetland scientist, a certified wetland scientist. I'm actually qualified to look at and review and object to many of the revisions that DCD is proposing. In compliance with the 2044 comprehensive plan that was completed last year, the city is required to update its shoreline master program, its critical area ordinance BMC 20.14, and its landscaping standards, aka trees, BMC 20.50. DCD, Department of Community Development, has proposed a number of revisions. They brought them to council. I made several arguments against them. The council as a whole noted that they had received no emails from anybody, any Bremerton residents, about any of these things. At the 2 eco forums that I held, the consensus among constituents and people from other parts of Bremerton was that the most important things, what they really wanted, was to protect trees and protect water. Trees are not covered by the critical areas ordinance. That's just wetlands, streams, geologic hazard areas, aquifer recharge, and I think I'm forgetting one of them. Neil Molstad of Department of Ecology is reviewing the critical areas ordinance at this time. I am hopeful that he will look at some of the things that I thought were really important and that the eco forums thought were really important. That wetland scientists be certified, just like plumbers, just like electricians. I'm hopeful that he will look at that. The basic thing of mitigation sequencing is you want to avoid the impact, like that's your first choice always. And then to reduce it, and then to compensate. And I have a number of other concerns with the critical areas ordinance, but I think those would be the two biggest: the need for certified wetland scientists, the need to extend protection for wetlands to ensure no net loss. If all of the DCD's revisions are accepted by council, I do not think that it will result in no net loss. As the revisions stand, in my professional opinion, as a retired wetland scientist, these will not protect them. In my professional opinion, I am not speaking for council. That's really important. No, the revisions will not result in no net loss. We need to have revisions and a municipal code that actually protects wetlands, that doesn't simply give lip service. The other thing is that the Wright Creek wetlands, the beaver otter wetlands that are along the Wright Creek, just near Pendergast Park, are called out in the comprehensive plan as the only specific critical area that Bremerton is sworn to protect. And yet there is no special recommendation in the critical areas ordinance revisions. There's no attempt to make it a local habitat of importance. I think that's the language. There's nothing at all about what is literally an irreplaceable treasure. Write to council, write to Garrett Jackson, garrett.jackson@bremertonlaw.gov. Third and last thing that I'd really like to talk about is the landscaping standards. There's an old saying in ecology, who speaks for the trees? Well, there's no state agency that I know of, and the people I know who are in state agencies don't know of anything either. Nobody is responsible for reviewing landscaping standards except council. It addresses what kind of trees get planted. What people called for in the eco forum was native or naturalized, canopy forming, non-invasive, drought tolerant trees. If you look at these trees are like 15 years old. These trees are not forming canopy. If you look at the species description, they're not meant to form canopy. They are meant to be accent trees or parking strip. And this is from the Washington State University website, species description, really good tree for a parking strip. These are the trees that we are mandating, or permitting, I should say. The approved street tree list of Bremerton includes a number of species that are not native, not naturalized. Many are not drought tolerant. None are invasive. So there's that. Canopy forming, not at all. The trees are pretty. They're like accents. punctuation, if you will. Nobody is speaking for the trees. I presented the consensus of the second Eco Forum to DCD in advance of the January 26, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. They got to Garrett Jackson. They were not transmitted to the Planning Commission through some glitch. I'm not sure what it was. Okay, so here's how this system works.
Yeah.
All of these regulations, all of these pieces of Bremerton Municipal Code, here's typically what will happen is DCD will promulgate revisions. They'll make revisions or they'll create brand new code in some places, and they run it by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission is entirely chosen by the mayor. It goes to council for approval. In my 4 years on council, I've never seen council reject any of the mayor's proposed members of any commission. DCD presents to the Planning Commission makes notes. They will typically go back and forth once, twice, even 4 times on any particular thing, depending on how complex it is. Then, when Planning Commission has given its blessing to the revisions, then it comes to council. Council is allowed to attend Planning Commission meetings, but we are not allowed to comment. Critical Areas Ordinance, Landscaping Standards, and Shoreline Master Program. All of those revisions are in the March 18th packet for the study session. It'll be a lot of scrolling, but, you know, hey, anybody who wants to review them, there they are. It's like, what kind of Bremerton do we want? Email City Council, email Garrett Jackson. I was a professional wetland scientist, a certified wetland scientist. I'm actually qualified to look at and review and object to many of the revisions that DCD is proposing. In compliance with the 2044 comprehensive plan that was completed last year, the city is required to update its shoreline map. At the 2 eco forums that I held, the consent 0.50. DCD, Department of Community Development, has proposed a number of landscaping standards that was completed last year. The city is required to update its shoreline master program, its critical area ordinance BMC 20.14, and its landscaping standards, aka trees, BMC 20.50. DCD, Department of Community Development, has proposed a number of revisions. They brought them to council. I made several arguments against them. The council as a whole noted that they had received no emails from any Bremerton residents about any of these things. At the 2 eco forums that I held, the consensus